Hi everybody, I'm Ron Canner, and I recently wrote a book called Birth Pangs, and it's something that gripped me during the springtime, beginning with the outbreak of the coronavirus. I asked the Lord, I said, is there anything that you want to say to me? You know, maybe not to the whole world, but to me. And I heard these two words in prayer in early March, be ready. And instinctively, I went to Matthew 24, where Yeshua talks about the end times and all the things that are going to happen, earthquakes, famine, and plagues like coronavirus. And then he says in verse 8, these are the beginning of birth pangs, which means that they're going to be strong, and then they're going to subside. And then there's going to be another one, and then it's going to subside. And we have to be ready. I believe that what we're going through right now is to make us ready. It's not, we have a tendency to have knee-jerk reactions to prophetic things happening on earth, when in fact, we need to pray and say, God, what are you saying? There's no such thing as birth pangs without a birth. It's leading to the coming of Yeshua. Now listen, I am not prophesying that, there have been people long before me who thought they were living in the end times. And I do think, I am convinced, I'm completely convinced that we are living in the end times. But I could be wrong. But we have to be ready. And I felt like the Lord was challenging us to be ready to prosper in the end times. And by prosper, I mean with the gospel, in bringing people to faith, revival, a move of God, not to be afraid, not to be overcome with fear. We have to become ready. Do you know where the word panic comes from? It does not come from pandemic, although that would make sense. It actually comes from mythology. Right here in Israel, there's a place called the Banyas, which we also call Caesarea Philippi. You've read about it in Matthew 16. That's where Peter makes that great declaration, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. But it's also in that area that there was the most horrible demonic worship. There was a cave there called the Cave of the God, and it was thought that that was the very access to hell. And in mythology, there was a half man, half goat, and his name was Pan, where we get the word panic. Now, what's the connection? Well, this very creepy creature would take a nap every day, and when he would wake up from his nap, he would let out a very demonic, blood-curdling shout, which would cause people to panic. And that's where we get the word panic from. But we, as believers in Yeshua, are not called to give in to panic. Yes, these things are real. And one of the things I say about the coronavirus is I'm not afraid of it, but I do respect it. Do you understand what I mean by that? Is that I'm trusting God for healing, for victory, supernatural life, but at the same time, I take every precaution. And when you're giving into that spirit of panic, you're paralyzed, and that's not God. You don't want to become offended at God. I'm convinced that these are people who become offended at God because of all the crazy things happening on earth.